What does the phrase mean? Life is a study in itself. Is there a danger that we are isolated in our own minds?
Yeah, well, I think life is a study in the self, in a way, isn't it? And as we gain, let's say we gain power, okay, I owned a company for a period of time, quite a number of employees. And so your ego, if I can put it that way, you know, in a Freudian sense almost, you know, becomes stimulated, and you start to believe that you are somehow separate from the reality of life. You're above the reality of life, and you read a little bit of some dialogues, you read the Republic, you know, Plato's Republic, and suddenly the philosopher king, the middle level perhaps would be the bureaucrats, and then the workers. So, but you're above the workers. Maybe you're even a philosopher king. And so you go on and on and on. So I think my ego was stimulated somewhat, you know, at a young age. And then I think what you're relating to is the experience when I spoke to those two young women. I once went to a party, and I'm a good-looking, well-dressed man, and I'm speaking to this one young, beautiful woman, and she then had a friend, and oh, I'm so impressive, I'm so charming. And I just finished a book on the and Islam of such, you know, now dealing with Turkey and as a focal point, you know, about the end of the Ottoman Empire, and I'm describing all of this about Turkey and Turkey and Turkey and Turkey. and then I thought, well, maybe a little bit too much about my opinion. And so I looked at the woman, Turkey. Do you like Turkey? Do you like the country? And she looked at me and she said, Turkey? I said, yeah, well, I've been discussing for the last half an hour, I've been talking about Turkey. Oh, about Turkey, well, I don't know really. Depends. I like my meat, some white or dark. How about you? And I realized that the woman had not understood a word of what I was saying. And it scared me for a moment, Luke, to be honest. It scared me. Like, was I so isolated in my own mind, my own monad running around, that I was incapable of explaining something rationally? Yeah, but that's what she did. It is a true story. So she had not understood, or either probably not listened as well.
Why are we all equal? How do we build bridges between people?
Equality, if I can put it that way, is omnipresent. It's everything. Right? We are all equal beings, whether I'm the President of the United States or I'm a ditch digger in India. We all have that gift of life. We're all equal. All equal. And we should respect all as well. Respect all. Very important. That's the takeaway. Humility. Not humility in a negative sense. Right? In English, we actually use the word modesty, which I think is a more real term. We're modest with it. We know, in other words, we know what we have. We know our power, but we don't have to show it. That's the takeaway.
What is the difference in English between humility and modesty?
What I've observed in my years of life is that love, the key to love is respect, isn't it, really? If you respect someone and you listen to someone, then all of us exist in the love of humanity, right? But I think I do believe that if you sat back and crises that exist in the world today, if people really talked to one another with respect, Luke, with respect, real respect, I really do feel that a lot of the issues could be mitigated. I really do. I mean, and this is not a unique statement. This is right from Tolstoy, right? What's Tolstoy's book? The Kingdom of God is within you. I mean, he's saying that all of us can be, can speak to one another. And to paraphrase him, he says basically that governments start wars. I mean, it's not people, right? Not people at all. So, yeah, that would be my reflection.
Do you believe that an honest conversation between warring parties can resolve the conflicts? Why should you gain more wisdom as you age in theory?
Well, I think that the major point, I think, what I'm trying to suggest here, Luke, is that ultimately the luck has a tremendous factor. And yes, we do make our own luck, but luck is a tremendous factor in financial success, for sure, right? And I think the people that are really powerful, let's take a chap like Richard Branson. He's an interesting man. Man is worth billions upon billions of dollars, but he said it himself that his people, his employees, has made the Virgin Empire what it is, and I believe that's the case. So if people don't believe in you and believe in your message, right, then you can do nothing. And I think that you have to realize, look, geez, I think you have to realize that you're just a being. And you're lucky that you get life. That's the first one. You're just a being. And if you kind of fill yourself with your own level of pomposity, hubris, gets in the way eventually. Eventually you do stumble and fall. How many people are on a daily basis or a yearly basis or a historical basis are total gangsters, and they had nothing but a false image. Bernie Madoff, he ran a bank for 40 years. That was a total Ponzi scheme. Hard to believe. To a point that I read his biography, of course, and there was a case that he started to become, the image of him was so powerful that people would come over to him and he had salesmen, Mr. Madoff, this man wants to meet you. Why? He wants to invest money in your bank. How much money does he have? This is a conversation. He has 10 million. No. Tell him to come back when he has 100 million. Literally. So this poor chap would go and collect his friends, and look, how a human being could do this and still, Bernie Madoff is in prison. One of his sons has committed suicide. It's just, the story is just horrible. And he bankrupted hundreds, if not thousands of people, right? How you can do this and live with yourself. But this is all about, the signs, apparently the signs along the way with the fall of his empire, basically, was that all you had to read is your stock statement on a monthly basis to realize that the stock statement claim and what the reality was were two different things. And it wouldn't take you long to question. Nobody did. Or a few did, actually, but they were dismissed, like you don't understand money, so. Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to just, what happened to me the other day? We have a mirror in our shower, right? And I jumped into the shower and put the hot water on and all that, and I wiped off the mirror. And I was, oh my gosh almighty, who's the old man that's jumped in the shower with me, just for an inkling? And then I realized it was me, right? So that's why I do it. It's humorous, and it makes people realize that you're just a being. The other day in one of our classes, the girls were dancing, and I danced along, and they thought it was amusing. They put it on Instagram, Why not? Look, why not? Why not? We're just people, right? If we want to bond, we have to be reasonably at the same level, don't we? We really. Yes, you should have more wisdom at a given age. You should know more. Gosh, but you should know more with a certain level of modesty associated with it, I believe. Right? Like some of the leaders at the moment in the world, let's say for instance, really trouble me deeply because they seem to show no humanity. No humanity, and all you have to do is have that experience with that poor woman, or go to any area of people that are poor, and like a lot of those are not fools. And I'm not big on homeless people, for instance. I think a lot of it is sloth, not all, but a lot, I'm sure. But regardless of the fact, they are human beings that have to be encouraged to change the way they think in the world. The clochards in Paris, they have to be encouraged. They have to be. It doesn't help us to have broken lives that live amongst the common good, It doesn't help.